The digital display on the gas pump was dark. Maria Sanchez stared at it, her hand still on the handle. A yellow plastic bag covered the nozzle, out of fuel again. It was the third station she'd tried that morning in suburban Minneapolis. Her fuel gauge was deep in the red. How would she get to her nursing shift? Pick up her kids? This wasn't supposed to happen here, but the empty pumps told a different story. Across several northern states, drivers circle blocks, searching for gas like desert travelers for water. Filling up has become a daily source of anxiety. The familiar glow of gas station signs is gone, replaced by darkness or no gas notices. The cause isn't a hurricane or refinery explosion, but a political decision made across the US-Canada border. A new Canadian policy has drastically reduced crude oil flow into the US, sending shockwaves through the supply chain. The consequences are now felt at the pump by people like Maria. The empty gas station is more than an inconvenience. It's a symbol of our fragile dependency. The question on everyone's mind: how did we get here, and when will it end? The fuel shortage began with a sharp policy shift from Canada. On October 1, 2025, Canada slashed crude oil exports to the US, a deliberate act of economic retaliation. This move was in response to new US environmental tariffs on Canadian lumber and aluminum. Canada, the largest foreign supplier of oil to the US, targeted a critical American vulnerability. The government ordered energy producers to cut shipments by nearly 30%, hitting pipelines that serve the Midwest and Pacific Northwest. US refineries, built for Canadian heavy crude, couldn't adapt overnight. The result: immediate supply deficits, slowed refinery production, and less fuel reaching gas stations. A single political decision threw the nation's fuel delivery system into chaos. Not all states are suffering equally. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Dakota, and Washington State are at the epicenter. These states depend on pipelines carrying Canadian oil to their refineries. When Canada turned down the tap, they felt it first. In cities like Seattle and Detroit, out-of-service signs and long lines are now the norm. Gas prices have spiked by over $1 in 2 weeks, with some stations accused of price gouging. Fuel deliveries are unpredictable. Stations run dry within hours. Rural areas are hit hardest. When the only gas station in town runs out, residents are stranded. The crisis has turned daily life into a struggle for fuel. The sense of freedom that comes with driving has been replaced by anxiety and isolation. For many, this is more than an inconvenience, it's a threat to their livelihood. The gas shortage is reshaping daily life for millions. Commuters wake up early to hunt for gas, carpooling is now a necessity, public transit is overwhelmed, and the stress of getting to work is mounting. Small businesses face impossible choices: absorb soaring fuel costs or pass them on to struggling customers. Delivery services are cutting back, and local commerce is slowing. Even essential services are strained. School bus routes are canceled, and emergency responders are forced to conserve fuel. In rural areas, people miss doctor's appointments or job interviews because they can't find gas. The shortage is unraveling the fabric of daily life, forcing painful choices. For many, it's not just about inconvenience, it's about survival. The crisis is a daily reminder of how vulnerable we are to distant decisions. Gas station owners are caught in the crossfire. Raj Patel, who owns 2 stations in Milwaukee, says, "People accuse me of hiding gas or price gouging, but my tanks are empty. I don't know when the next delivery will come." Long lines at the few stations with gas have become tense and volatile. Panic buying is rampant, with people filling up tanks and extra cans, making the shortage worse. Community spirit is being tested, replaced by desperation. Online groups now track which stations have fuel. But a black market for gasoline is emerging, with people selling gas at exorbitant prices. The psychological toll is mounting. Fuel anxiety dominates conversations and disrupts plans. "You feel trapped," says Sarah Jenkins from Fargo. "My car is my freedom. Now I have to think twice before every trip." The world feels smaller, more uncertain. Across the 5 states, a fundamental part of American life is in question. The crisis has exposed just how quickly normalcy can vanish. People are adapting, but fear and frustration are everywhere. The shortage is changing the way communities function and trust each other. In Washington, the crisis has triggered an urgent response. The president has promised swift action, and high-level talks with Canada are underway. The Department of Energy is releasing oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to boost supplies. Emergency measures are in place. Truck drivers can work longer hours, and states have declared emergencies to fight price gouging. The oil industry is scrambling to reroute supplies from the Gulf Coast and find alternative sources, but these fixes take time. Infrastructure isn't built to move massive amounts of fuel northward quickly. Officials are urging the public to conserve fuel, avoid non-essential travel, use public transit, and carpool. Managing the crisis requires collective effort, increasing supply and reducing demand. The hope is that these combined efforts will bridge the gap until a permanent solution is found. For now, the government and industry are racing against time. The outcome depends on diplomacy and public cooperation. The coming weeks are uncertain. The best hope is a diplomatic breakthrough with Canada to restore oil flow. If talks fail, shortages could spread beyond the initial 5 states, disrupting the national supply chain. Businesses may cut hours or lay off staff. Schools might return to remote learning. The government could even consider gas rationing, a step not seen since the 1970s. This crisis exposes the risks of relying on a single foreign source for a critical resource. Calls for energy independence and investment in alternatives will grow louder. For now, people in the affected states live day by day, hoping for relief. The empty pump is a symbol of how quickly normal life can be upended. The lessons from this crisis will shape America's energy future for years to come.